Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's SoulSaint here with another Raid Chat Legends video. As of today, it is the 17th of July, 2026, and we are in rotation number 2 for Chimera. With that being said, the column of choice that we're going to care about is going to be middle side leaning, believe it or not. So basically, just to give you guys an idea of what I've been trying to do, I've been acquiring more and more ways to be able to give you guys different types of teams. And today's account is going to be brought to you by our good friend Zatali, who happens to have a decent roster to work with, and we're going to actually put it to use today. So for today's gameplay, we wanted to kind of showcase a team that can ideally get you not only 25 mats, that's the minimum thing that I'm looking for, but ideally we're looking for a good enough option for us to get maybe some extra stuff along the way. So additionally to that, the next best set of things to go for is going to be the Basalt, which is present. There's at least 2 different sets in the Ultra Nightmare side. You have a 3-star and a 4-star equivalent, and of course 25 mats. And then if anything else after that, we're looking for like maybe some gemstone options, right? So that could be some cool stuff to look out for. With that being said though, today's focus is definitely going to be towards the 25 mats and at least the Basalt. That's what I'm aiming for today. Our roster of choice is going to be some really good combos that you may be familiar with. You hear me talk about it all the time. It's going to be Fina and Galathier, really good duo. We're going to bring in Ramantu and Toshiro as well for our DPS damage option / debuff, right? And then to couple it all off, we're going to also bring in Narma for some particular trial focuses as well as some additional debuffs. All right, with that being said, though, to kind of give you guys a quick rundown, what we're looking for is middle row, so trial set number 2 in each column. I'm actually going to go into the fight because it's a little bit easier to see that way. But if you go into the fight and you look at... you click at the top side where you see like your trial count, the amount of trials you have completed. There is a spot where you can click right here, and then you can see the different sections, right? So for me, left side column, middle side column, right side column. So column 1, column 2, column 3. This week is all about column 2. So for each a different form that we're dealing with, those are the columns that we're going to be prioritizing, right? So in essence, to give you guys a quick rundown of what we're looking for here, our increased accuracy option is going to be our Galathier, as you can see. He's going to be doing that in his second form. He'll provide that for the team, and then we just need to get enough debuffs out. And then after that, it's basically we need to have weaken with increased crit. That's going to come from Ramantu as well as Fina. They're going to give us that option there as well. And then, of course, at the very end, we need decreased defense and weaken, which will come from either a combination of Ramantu or Toshiro, plus the ability to live throughout this entire fight, brought to you by Fina, right? And, of course, Galathier, for that matter. So that's where we're going to get those 3 at. Now, in this exact same form, we're also going to need to do the Veil and decreased defense, which can be brought to you by Toshiro in his base form. He does that automatically on his own. And then, of course, we need a certain amount of unique debuffs on the team and unique buffs on the team as well. And that's going to come from pretty much Galathier and Fina as well. Then we're going to go ahead and do all those. And then basically the rotation back around is going to be a combination of Galathier kind of holding up the team with block debuffs, right? This particular team comp is going to be it starts off with red in this form, but it's going to be blue for most of the fights. So pretty neutral affinity across the board, with one champion being positive affinity, which is Galathier. Typically pretty hard to get him to get that stun trial in, but he will be present for that, right? Only one weak hit we have to worry about this round. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to go into the next part, which is going to be Lion, and it's going to be damage basically within 3 turns with 5 or unique buffs. And it doesn't count enemy max HP scaling. That's pretty much going to be Fina, Galathier, and company, with Toshiro pushing out 1.5 mil pretty quickly. Decrease defense and decrease speed from Ramantu is going to be your second trial. 2.5 million damage is going to come from Toshiro after that. And then, of course, the very last one is going to be counterattack base, which is going to be Fina giving that counterattack to Toshiro. Right? So that's pretty easy round out there. I believe on the right side, we also get... a Basalt if we do the leash trial, that's Toshiro. And then, of course, 10 debuffs with decreased res. Decreased res is particularly going to come from Gala. And, of course, the rest of the stats are going to prioritize based off of whatever else we can get. So we got a lot from Ramantu. We're also going to get a lot of poisons out from our girl Narma, as well as decreased attack and poison sensitivity. So we got a lot to go there, too, as well. And then that pretty much covers it, right? We're pretty much at the tail end of that. So that's all the Basalt lore that we can get from both of the 2 forms that are present this round. around. And then, of course, we got some of the, basically some of the 25 mythical mats from Lion and Ram. On the Viper side, this is where it gets interesting. We're looking to get poison sensitivity as well as poison trials up. That's where Narma's going to play a pretty hefty role. She puts out the poisons and the poison sense, as you can see, as well as when she's attacked. So that's pretty nice. And then, of course, we're also going to be able to activate it with her. So to get a lot of that 250,000 in one go, that's going to be the plan for her. And then, of course, we have to keep our team alive for roughly 3 turns afterwards. Now, we could do this in many ways. We can obviously just spank and tank it with Galathir keeping the team going. We could also try going for a little bit extra stuff here on the left side with Ramonto, or Galathir being able to lock out in his second form. That could be an option to consider, which will give us 1 extra trial. And then, of course, from there, it's going to be spank and tank until the very end, right? And then after that, we just got to rotate all the way around back to the boss, or have somebody die during that part of the boss fight and revive them back up with a full team, and you have all your trials done. And that's going to be basically a combination of mostly Galathir, but you may use like Refina to reset because the first one gets denied as a part of the Viper's mechanics. Some tricks we could probably do there is we're probably going to try to let maybe our main damage dealer die in Ram form, maybe not protect him and let him whack-a-mole into a reflect hit and let him kill himself. So that might be our answer to let him die, and then in the second go around we just let them stay dead throughout the course of the fight, right? So that might be my go-to for this particular round here. But we are built up for the most part. I am going to show you guys their builds before we go into the actual fight. I just want to give you all a quick rundown of what to expect. Let's see if they are showing up. Nope, they're not, because we did a regroup there. So let's go to Galathir. He is +2, keep it fully awakened, so just keep that in mind. He is in a relentless build with some speed and some additional variable sets to give him some extra stats. Obviously, we wanted to have a little bit of resistance, some tankiness, as well as some pretty quick speed. He is on the higher side of crit damage in terms of this team comp. Our lowest one's going to be at a later champion, but it's not Galathir, right? All right, with that being said, though, moving right along, we're going to look for our girl Fina, who's the other part of the engine here. She is 5-star awakened. She is missing some stuff here. Let's see if we can put some things on it. It looks like it got taken from our boy Galathir. Let's find another amulet from this department. Let's see if we can find one. I'm looking for a crit damage one, ideally. Boom. We don't have it because that's an orc. Let's go back up. Come on. Let's see here. We're looking for protection. Find a quick one. We don't have any crazy ones, so we're going to look for the next highest crit damage available. It's probably going to be this one here. Basically, it's okay. We have a lot of crit damage already as it is, so we can actually kind of afford to go maybe a little bit more tankier in an HP department, which, so I kind of like this. It's actually okay. So we're going to lock that in. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. She is going to be around like 368 speed. We obviously would like this to be a little bit faster, but we're missing a blessing, and then obviously we could probably tweak up the build a bit more. Pretty tanky, though. 4.7k defense is nothing to scoff at. 75k of HP. I wouldn't mind a little bit more in that department. And then, of course, the resistance is, it's a little bit of a nice little bonus, but it's not mandatory for today's gameplay. Let's go ahead and max this out since we are here. I'll throw a quick little oil on it. If we get like an HP, for example, we'll max that out. It looks pretty good. I'll even take a defense. We got HP Roth Rep, so that's even better. Easy peasy. Just because we're also in a good mood, we're going to go ahead and throw in a little 5er right there. Bang. We got 15. Oh, you get a little bit more than that. Bang. At least a 20. There we go. We're happy with that. That's not bad. That's not bad. All right. So she's going to be running down the department there with that in speed. Our extra support option for the poison trial is going to be Narma. Now, I won't lie. I would like for her to be in a full-on feral set since she's going to be providing a lot of debuffs for us and being able to extend them and whatnot. So keeping debuff uptime is going to be pretty important. But we don't have the feral accessories to justify a full 9-piece build. But if you wanted my recommendation, I would do something like that. But basically, super fast with some decent tankiness and, of course, enough accuracy to land the debuffs that we care about is importante. And then, of course, we're going to go over to our boy Ramontu, who is going to be pretty much very similar. Now, I did throw a little bit of damage on him, which is not mandatory, but it's a nice little thing to kind of have a little extra for. He's also in the same department where he doesn't have a full-on amount of like feral pieces to work with, so we're a little bit on we're a little bit behind in that department, but that's okay. We wanted to kind of at least get the ball going. I think Toshiro as a damage dealer is going to kind of put us over anyways. We should be okay. We should be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get a couple pieces out here and max these out real fast for us. HP, that's all right. We're gonna throw it on. I would prefer attack, but that's not gonna be the end of the world. He is designed to be a little bit more on the tankier side, and he is also not the lowest crit damage here. Main thing is speed and accuracy, and then of course tankiness. Everything else is a bonus. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now out of all of our options here, as you can see, Toshiro is going to be our main damage dealer. +2, almost fully awakened, but a 5-star nevertheless. He is in Zeal and Merciless, as you can see here, with 2 boss slayers and a Scroll of the Unseen build. 220 speedish is about okay. We have him a little bit less here. We have him, basically, I was aiming for 75% or more, but 75 was the minimum I set as a criteria because we are getting a buff from Fina. With that being said, though, you just want to make sure you get your crit cap with everything being said, and obviously we want some damage, so HP, attack, and crit damage are our modifiers that we care about. And then with accuracy, he's around 414. Keep in mind that he ignores res in these builds, so it's very easy for him to kind of cut the gap off with that extra little bit in mind, putting him well over what he needs for the 475 check at the highest end, and I think the average is around 450-ish. So don't quote me on that, but I think it's like 455. Anyway, so that's the team. So let's get into it. You guys see the blessings that we are also using as well. Nothing too bad. You could probably do like a cruelty for Narma if you're trying to use her as a supporting element, like how we have our build at the moment. But I'm not going to change it because no need to for this showcase. All right. Now, main thing we're going to be doing here is to keep in mind that we have one negative affinity approach that we have to be a little bit mindful of, which is the first 3 on our side here. More importantly, we want to make sure we continuously get that decrease attack in place. So if it doesn't land, it's something to kind of be a little bit concerned about, but it's not the end of the world. We're just going to play it a little bit careful. We're going to get our decreased speed, defense, and we missed our block buff, it looks like. So a little bit of a problem there. We already have our debuffs up, so that's a little bit interesting. See how we take a little bit of a hit? Kind of important to keep in mind. I'm just going to go ahead and just A1 for now. Resetting Spaghetti, our boy right here, so we can continuously move. I'm going to save the A3 since we did miss that that ability, and we're going to just basically try to sustain our way through, so you can kind of see what it would look like in real time when we have some chance failures and you don't get that increase ability, you know, or that block buff or anything like that. So we're going to kind of play it by ear since that happened, right? We have 2 negatives that happened. So now he's got increased speed and we didn't get decreased attack, so our damage intake's a little bit higher than we want, right? However, here's some cool things about this comp that kind of compensates for it a little bit. Obviously, we can keep refreshing with Toshiro. We want him to pack a punch. And I could add more. There's not really a big intrinsic value for him doing this, so I am going to be careful. But with the A3, we can strip, remove the buff, and that keeps it from the uptime being too impactful in terms of a loss, right? Extra turns kind of popping off for Galathir, making us kind of go faster. We still don't have it. If I had Feral, I would be using the A3 a little bit more aggressively because we have more uptime on some of the poisons and whatnot, but it's not that big of a deal for this go around, so I'm just going to continue to keep scaling our Toshiro up so he can be a little bit more of a problem. Getting our debuffs out. Now we got the block buff, so it's less of an issue there. Obviously, the poisons are going to easily kind of scale up a bit more there, so it's also less of an issue too. I'm going to shoot my shot at another A2 here. We did activate them a little bit. I think we had a pretty decent amount of debuffs up, so that was something to watch out for. Let's keep it going, though. We're going to keep the ball going. We're getting some decent damage out despite being a little bit on a worse start. This would be one of those runs that I would say, if you're looking for like some consistency and you want to kind of have a really good run to kind of get the ball going, this would be a good opportunity to kind of reset and just get exactly what you want. You know, we don't want to have to worry about like a negative start. But, I mean, nevertheless, the damage is looking pretty prevalent. We're doing okay, especially for it being negative affinity. We're not really too worried about this form just yet. Like, damage is going to come gradually. As we get through the other forms, they're going to naturally place themselves into being able to produce more damage. So right now, I'm just more so concerned about keeping the team alive and scaling up the damage for when we do go into the next round. Now, something to keep in mind is because these builds are a little bit more closer in terms of what we are aiming for, we do want to be a little bit careful. And this could be an opportunity right here at turn 4 going into 5 where we could have maybe started the fight off a little bit more carefully. I'm going to just slow down the fight now in general. We do want to make sure everybody is safe going into this. Now, I can A2. I probably will reset him, so I'm going to go ahead and just use his ability now. He is on the cooldown side of things, but I am going to flip my Galathir here, and we're just going to play it a little bit more on the slower end side of things. I probably should have actually A3 to start us off there, but that's okay. That's okay. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is A3 into an A2. We're going to go ahead and protect our boy here, keep him a little bit safe. I think he's going to get another turn as well, and I think that's subsequently going to give Galathir another turn too. Now I'm going to A3 so we can see some stuff as it pops, right? Her passive should trigger as he hits her, which will give us some stuff maybe. Looks like we didn't get anything there, unfortunately. Try to land some debuffs. And the extra turn is very nice here. This is going to give us the ability to get back online quickly. Now, with that being said, We got the increase extra. Like, he's actually showing out today. Like, so Galatier's giving us everything we need to kind of survive pretty safely, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to do something that will give us the cooldown of this off, and it is now, so we got that going for us. Now, as we start debuffing aggressively, we should get a couple things here. We didn't miss the decreased defense. This is where the redundancy is going to be kind of nice, but we will get our stuff there. We are short by a little bit, so I may need to reset and pull him, pull another round of like getting Galatier flipped over so that Narma could do a little bit more there. So I'm actually going to save her kit a bit, and we're just going to kind of keep it going for a little bit more here. Now, I'm playing in favor of the second trial, which we just accomplished with Toshiro. He got a counterattack off, and now he's in play. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to go for an extra turn here. We got the boost. I'm going to cleanse. Got another extra turn. This is fantastic. This Galatier is nasty with it. We're going to get A3, kind of give ourselves another chance here for some stuff. I got another debuff on the bar. He's getting another extra turn, which is fantastic. Where I'm at right now, I basically just want to keep the ball going, and I want to keep everybody safe. Narma is active, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Reduce it. We got the decreased defense, or the decreased attack at play now, and now we're on to the second form. So this is working out pretty well for us. Now, here's the thing. We need some things to check off. Weaken. It's up. We also need increased crit. It's on. And we have decreased defense at play. So the A2 is actually big value here. I'm going to go ahead and just A2 now because we got that block damage. It looks like we came up almost a little bit short there, which is unfortunate. I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing some buffs here. Boost into play. Get the counterattack off yet again. I'm actually going to go ahead and try to refresh some stuff here. Maybe get a little bit extra damage to put us over. Nothing too crazy, unfortunately, but that's all right. A3 here. Now it doesn't really matter what we do. We got some stuff going on. We do lose a turn because we got stunned, which is unfortunate, but that's all right. We get to flip here. Get our stuff back online, hopefully. And we're good to go. So we got some resets along the way, too, so that's not too bad. But we are on our way, right? We did lose the weekend, so I am going to just go ahead and reapply buffs because that's going to help him out with his Nature's Wrath stacks. It also gave us the debuff we were looking for on the right side, so that's one thing we were looking to cover. Let's go ahead and just keep this ball going. I'm 2 turns short, so I actually should have probably been a little bit more careful with that. But that's an easy fix, right? Worst case scenario, we could skip and we can come back to this part of the fight and we're smooth forward, right? But I think we can still clear this out just a bit more. I'm going to go ahead and do the extra turn here. We're going to go ahead and just activate this so we can make sure that he has enough space to work with. We just need that weekend back out. It is in play, and we got the trial done, which is great. Which means that now I just need to do enough damage, and we got the ball going. So we're going to do some buffs here. He still had block damage, which is what I was tracking here when I did my moves. An extra turn would go crazy here. We did not get it, but that's okay. Increased crit is still in play. We still have our stuff. Hopefully this works out for us. We're going to do a big hit here. A2, we got enough damage to put us over, and that's all the trials we want to do for this particular round. So we're looking pretty healthy. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start saving our kit up here at this point. Basically, the idea that we want to accomplish is we just want to keep our team safe and prepared for the next transition because we are at turn count 10. So even with this run kind of starting off a little bit more on the sloppy side, not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, we're going to go ahead and buff up a little bit here. We got fully protected on the Toshiro, which is fantastic. An A1 here, which means he's going to be ready for when the boss transitions. We're going to get some free damage out here. Might as well get on the way out, you know, take some free damage home. We're basically at 2 mil per every turn that the boss has gotten so far. So looking pretty healthy for us. Can't complain whatsoever. We're going to go ahead and boost up for the team here. We are taking some damage. I hope you guys see that a little bit because we don't have the decreased attack, and that is something to kind of keep in mind with a team like this, but nevertheless, we got our full debuff set out. I'm going to try to see if we get that leech out. Looks like we were able to. We're going to buff back up here and heal. We got an extra turn here so we can sustain a little bit. Now, we are going to be preparing for what's coming up here. We got a increased res. We got a leech that we have to worry about on the right side. We also have some decreased defense and some other things we need to worry about. So I may change over Galatier pretty early in this fight. We will see. I'm going to try maybe around turn count 14 going into 15 to consider doing that turn removal, you know. I want to be a little bit careful, though, because we still don't have that decreased attack, though, so I'm going to kind of play it by ear a little bit, but that is something we can consider, right? So we're going to keep boosting along for now. There's no value for us to transform just yet. We did use our ability, so she did not get successful there, so that's a little unfortunate. But I can either reset her so that we can kind of secure that. Let's try that. That's a great thing about our girl, Fina, is that she gives us that flexibility to do that, right? We're going to get boosted up here again. We're going to try one more time, and we got it now, and it's a 3-turn duration, so this is actually looking a little bit better. We did compromise a little bit of our damage here, but this is going to give us some trial efficiency now, so I don't mind it. He's negative affinity anyway, so there's always that possibility we may lose a little bit of uptime on damage, but that's okay. That's okay. I'd rather we have a safe run, first and foremost, before we go into anything. So turn count 14 is when we're going to kind of pay attention here to try to get a little bit more going for us here. We're going to try to just keep everybody's the buffs up as long as possible, so we're going to A1 with her there. A quick little run here, and now I'm going to go ahead and cleanse so that she's got something going for her. He's got his A3 back up, so we're looking okay. I can do an A3 into an A2 into him now, so like we're looking pretty healthy. It's looking pretty good. Now, in this regard, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to A1. Looks like we're getting some good value out of that. It got enhanced yet again, so it's all looking healthy, right? Not bad at all. The transition is going to be kind of important here when we get into this, so you need to keep in mind how your builds are looking. I didn't really put too much emphasis on it, but I will note that I believe it's between our Narma and our Galathir who's going to have the highest defense, right? So they're going to be the target, they're going to be the subject of scrutiny for this particular transition when the boss is going to target somebody. So ideally it goes to Narma, but hopefully with everything kind of going the way it does, even if it targets Galathir, he should still hopefully be safe. Now, we don't have that little passive value that we normally are accustomed to going into this, so it is important to know, it's important to know that we are careful and cautious with it, right? Now, I'm just using the A1s for right now because we are transitioning, but I will use the A3 once we transition over to the boss going a little bit more. So for now, what do I want to do? I just got reset, so we have that luxury afforded to us with Fina. And I'm going to save the A2 here because that's going to be where we're going to see some value from her being able to put the decrease attack as well as some extra buffs and whatnot too. So this is going to be pretty important for us here. We're going to reset Spaghetti here. He's ready to go. Now the boss is going to transition. Where's it going to go? I think it's going to go to Fina, believe it or not. But it's okay. We're safe. We're safe, and that's all that matters, right? Now, I'm going to immediately A2 here. We want that decreased attack in play immediately, right? We're looking to get debuffs online, though. So one of the big goals with this particular startup is that we are on a budget of time, right? We want to get that ball going as quickly as possible because what's going to happen here is we're going to brute force through this pretty quickly, right? She is also on the chopping block. I don't know if you see, he's kind of slamming. So this is a drawback to kind of her being that target, right? We want to be a little bit careful, but we already have our buffs and debuffs set up. Let's do another count here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 debuffs in play. So this is good. This is fantastic. Okay, here's what I will do in the meantime, though. We're going to get our revive off the ground. She's actually kind of our speed engine, too, as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do an A2. We're going to pop that, get that going for us. I'm going to go ahead and do an A1 here. We're going to try to sustain this as much as possible. A3, A2. We're going to go do this here on the Toshiro so we can get some more positive addressing here. I'm going to A3 and see if maybe this will trigger. It does trigger the boss because we did attempt to do a debuff there. And now we heal up. Now it doesn't matter what we got going on, right? We're safe. We're healthy. We got through the main trial. We got the counterattack. And that's one of the Basalt ores and the extra mats from Lion complete. So far, so good. We got 2 sets of mats done. So that's almost on track for what we're looking for on the 25 marker. And then, of course, we are looking to get maybe a little bit more done with that block debuff trial, right? So what I'm going to do here for now, since he's about to do the hit where it kind of hurts us a little bit, we're going to get our A3 up. We're going to get that leech back online. Basically, I'm trying to just maintain, sustain as much as possible. So we're looking to just keep our debuffs safe and sound. Looks like we were able to hit most of it for the most part. I'm going to just do an A1 yet again. Like I said, we're looking to just kind of maintain a little bit of security here. Her extra turns here kind of makes that a little bit better for us, so it's not too bad, but she is taking a bit of a chunk. So her tankiness is paying off a little bit, but it's pretty close. This is where that extra HP that I talked about that I would like a little bit more of would be pretty handy. But here's something I want you guys to keep in mind in the back of your heads here. You see where we are at right now currently with our damage output? Toshiro's doing some significant work here, which is fantastic, right? Narma is also available for the heals. I wanted to hold off on doing the A2 until after the A3 was used because he removes the decrease attack, and now that we got it reapplied, the next couple of hits should hopefully not pack too much of a punch. We're going to go ahead and cleanse up here. She is going to take a hit, but that's all right. We have enough to poison. We're going to poison her up a little bit because this is actually going to help us out. A3 into another A2. We're going to put it back on the Toshiro. Toshiro is our free damage here. She's going to take a hit yet again, but it's not enough to kill her, which is also what we're looking for. Get a free counterattack as it AoEs, and we're back in play. So it's turn count 20. We still have the debuffs that we care about. Only thing we're missing is weekend, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Damage is not the problem with this team. Toshiro is a absolute menace of a unit. Now, here's the thing. Because we're about to transition, I want to keep that A2 available so that we can pop it for the boss when we get to the next step, right? So basically, my cooldowns are kind of going in this safety range. I will cleanse. She is going to take a little bit of a hit, but it's not hopefully too bad to a point where we were able to get our moves online. Here we go. We're going to do some more hits here. This is actually one of the best places to get a lot of damage out. I could do it one of two ways, right? I can A2 right now to keep find us safe, which I'm going to do. She gets the heal off, right? I'm going to A3 into an A2 on her now. Remember, during the ultimate part of the fight, we're just trying to say, we're trying to keep safety being the key thing here, right? So giving her the opportunity to apply that debuff again is really nice. Getting decreased defense weekend now and the decreased speed and the block buffs covers a lot of the generic stuff that we're looking for in this particular starting point. You know, we want to watch out for that increased speed. But now we have her back up. We want that decreased attack, which we were able to achieve, which is fantastic. Now we're safe. It's all about maintaining it. We got 3-turn duration uptime, which is fantastic. Basically, we're in a safe spot. Going into this next fight, though, we have to be a little bit careful. We have the poison trial coming up, so Narma is going to be the key here for this. We want to make sure everybody stays safe, right? So what do we do here? Only thing we're really missing is decrease honestly it's just leech, right, from our boy Toshiro, which we're gonna go ahead and get right now. Watch, I'm claiming it into existence, and it was not successful, unfortunately. That's okay. We have what we're looking for here for the most part anyways. I am gonna go ahead and pop another A2 when the time comes here, just so that we can clear up some space so that we can try it again. She also does it on her A2 as well, so that's not bad. We're getting that increased uptime on the duration from her A1 too as well, which is pretty significant, right? Not bad at all. But we do want that leech out, because that's going to be our way of sustaining going from 24 to 25. We really can't put too much debuffs and stuff in play, you know, going into this. So got to be careful. Got to be careful with that. All right, she should be coming back up. Going to go ahead and activate. She got some more debuffs back online, but I believe he has his cooldowns reset, so this should be a great opportunity. I'm going to apply the upgrade here one more time here, just in case we get another A1. It's all right. A3 into this. Now we got the leech up, so that's our sustain there. We have decreased attack for 2 more turns. That's 4 and 5, and now 26, but, you know, obviously the boss is going to transform here. We have what we're looking for in terms of safety, so this is really, really good. We're going to go ahead and cleanse so we get the increased defense, or the decreased speed off. And now we're chilling. We're at 24, 25 is where I stopped doing too much buffs, too much debuffs. I'm basically just riding out the train here. We're just trying to play it safe, keep it safe here. The idea is that we do something. Now, here's something else you could do too as well if you're worried about damage intake. You could actually flip Toshiro here and, you know, have him play a little passively in the second form, but once he gets the next hit, 24 going into 25, so this next hit that the boss is about to do, he could A2, and that sustains and heals up the allies around him too as well. Because we don't want to use our girl Narma's kit right now at this moment. She's about to get ready to go into some fights. So the leech is very important. The damage intake that we're having is very important. You see how we're kind of low? I'm actually going to go ahead and take the tip here. We're gonna actually do what I just suggested, right? Because I don't want we don't want that that block debuff from Galathea that we use for heals to go into play here. So I'm going to actually use the A2 here. We got a little bit of a heal, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Are we safe? That's the question, right? Now, I could do this, interestingly enough, a certain way, right? What I'm thinking I will do is I will activate the A2 so that we can get a little bit of healing out, since we got a lot of continuous heals or stuff here available, but I'm going to use her to basically get her back online. So now we're in a safe spot. It's okay, right? We're going to go in A1 here. Basically, the boss is going to go. This is kind of a weird spot to be in, but that's all right too as well, because Narma's at the top of the turn. This is healthy, right? So I'm going to have her activate the A3 immediately, right? She's going to A3. We got some poisons out on her. We're going to A3 some more. That gives us the poison sensitivity. We're going to A3 2 right here. I'm going to A1. This may extend it a little bit more, which is fantastic. How many debuffs do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I try to do any more, it'd be 9, 10, right? We want to get decreased speed. Or we already had decreased speed, so we want to get the block buff, and that's the only thing that's a little bit concerning. I'm in no rush. This is actually okay, right? We're going to get our cleanse from Galathea here in just a moment. fully healing everybody else up. We're going to A3, A2 Narma, right? So that's going to push her in speed because of what we did with Finest Passer, right? The buffs and everything kind of helped out. I'm actually going to go ahead and A2 now. Our goal is this. 250 is what we're aiming for. So, bang, big activation, 450,000. Fantastic. Now, it's all about living, right? So we're going to go ahead and do our debuffs here. We got everything we wanted except for that pesky little block buffs, excuse me. We're blocking something. But speaking of block actives, we're going to go block active here. That's going to give us 2-turn uptime. We can A3 here. It doesn't really hurt us here or anything in addition to that. So now I'm in a pretty good spot where he's only going to A1, and that normally won't kill us, right? We also have Leech to sustain us a bit here. We got no increased speed here, so that opportunity's kind of gone a little bit. From our side, so we can't get that extra little bit there, but wouldn't be too bad of a nod if we were available to use some alternative options, right? So we're in a good spot. I'm actually going to just continue to A1 here because what we're looking to do is just make sure that this stays done in a safe manner, right? And something that's kind of cool too is we're getting an extra little trial here on the side. I don't know if you guys noticed when I mentioned it earlier before we went into the fight. So full setup, he's back in play. This is a great opportunity to really expand upon your damage. If you watch my other column, I think it was column 3 video I did, I think around the 60 mil part prior to the end of this is a good indication that you're in that 100 to 112 plus range. You know, if you double it down, it's basically you're roughly at like 60 plus 60. If you're doing 2 rotations, that you're about 120 up, right? So that's looking really, really good for where we want to be at. So I'm just going to basically continue to do more and more here in that regard. We're going to keep this extended. We're going to go back to his base for now. We accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Block debuffs will help us from getting petrified and all these other debuffs that we're looking at from his A1. So very safe, very nice. Going to go in for a hit here. We pretty much got everything we're looking for. And now we're getting some free counterattacks, some more damage out, which is going to make us even more formidable. Do we care about anything in particular here? I think the answer is no, so I'm just going to put an A3 just to fill up the debuff bar, get some A3s off here. We're just basically going to rinse and repeat and just keep the ball going, right? I will try to go for the weekend. I probably should have reconsidered maybe doing the A3 from her so I can get the block buff out, but we got one more turn uptime before you can do anything. So at the very worst, if we get one more A1 to extend this just a little bit more, which we did, we don't have to worry about him for the rest of this fight. So very, very nice, very, very clean. Looks like we're on pace for it, right? The next turn is going to push us over this next trial, which means that all we have to do is basically at this point is get through the trial of him getting stuns off on Ram, and then have somebody die going into the next fight here, and that's pretty much GG. And there's a lot of ways we could do it. We can let like Fina die, for example, in Lion. We can let Toshiro die in Ram. There's a lot of variables, a lot of things at play here. The biggest thing is just making sure we stay alive, right? With our main core audience, or our main core composition. So the ones I'm going to look to keep alive during the ultimate form is probably like Narma and Galathier, because if Narma can get that decreased attack off, our damage mitigation is completely enhanced, right? And then of course our main reviver is going to be Galathier himself. So like those are the big things we're looking to achieve going into those in-between transitions going forward. So that's it right there for that trial. We're basically at the point now where we got everything we're looking for. This is going to be possible. I think I'm going to lock this in regardless of whether or not we get this trial or not, but we are definitely going to shoot the shot. I want you to see if we can do it, right? So 29 to 30 means that we're going to be pretty close to transition period. I'm going to start slowing down on some of the debuffs that we use. Obviously with Toshiro, since he's my main target of aggression for damage and we're resetting him quite a bit, I'm going to go ahead and just use him for resets, and we're going to pump damage. That's the goal, right? Plenty of A2s to go around. And we're looking like we're kind of close to the 69 range. And I think by the time we end this whole rotation, this first rotation of the fight, that we're getting close to the halfway point now. It looks like we're going to be able to hit basically in the 70 mil department or more. So looking very healthy. We got a counterattack on us. Should put us over the 70 now. Looks like we might have a chance for a solid 72, 71. Let's see how it goes. We're going to get our extensions, our resetty spaghettis. A2 again. Bang, 72.6. We're looking pretty good, pretty swifty here. So keeping it going. Basically now at this point, we are at the halfway point, and we're already climbing up into like close to like the mid 75 range, which is crazy. So let's see how this goes. Big hits here. Boom. With the poison activation, it should be pretty much over the marker for hitting what we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and do some more here. Like I said, we're just infinitely resetting him. He got full buffs protected too, so he's going to survive with everything on him. That's going to be awesome. That means we're going to get a little bit more damage here. Got some poisons out. Not too bad. Get a little bit of free damage. Yeah, we're basically roughly hovering around that 75 mil range to start us off. So not bad. We're going to go ahead and heal everybody up here. Let's see. Let's get some debuffs. We do want that block buff up this time, which we got. We're gonna go ahead and give the increased crit. No resetty spaghetti just yet, but that's all right. The main thing we kind of want here is that decrease attack. So I'm actually okay with that since I got the chance to fail. We're gonna hold that A1 for the heal part here going into this next part, because we are gonna take a little bit of a hit unless Narma is just fast enough, which she should be with this a little bit of a push. We're gonna try for one more attempt here. It did not land. It got resisted, so that's a little bit unfortunate. A little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We're gonna keep it going. Basically, that's what I'm going to aim to do in between the transition. At that point, where we are at, we're kind of comfortable with the damage. It's not too bad. And I think we can even continue to keep pushing a little bit more, right? I could try to get enough to a point where we get top chest before I let Toshiro stay there, you know, being dead. You got options. You got options, right? I'm going to go ahead one more time with her. We do have some debuffs that are about to fall, so I'm going to try to reapply them there, which we did successfully. One more attempt. Yeah, we got the decreased attack. That's great. And now we have enough to hold us over for going into the next transition. So we're in a pretty good spot now. I don't need to continuously beef her up. We're going to want to prepare for Toshiro anyways. We want to keep him alive for this next part. So not bad at all. All right, let's keep this going. At this point, I'm playing for damage, right? That's what we're going to do. We're going to basically play for damage. We're going to keep Toshiro doing a decent amount. Let's see, big damage numbers. We got a lot of weak hits to that round. That's super unfortunate. We're going to try to extendo everything we can, which we were successful in. So that puts us for the 3, the 4. If I get one more extension, then we're going to be covered for the 5 as well. So this is looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Taking a little bit of damage here. Should get one more counterattack. Oh, and it wasn't a weak hit, so that puts us over 80. This is looking pretty solid for our damage options, right? All right, I'm going to pretend and prepare for the possibility that we're going to get the extension because we believe in it. It was not the case. Unfortunate. But we are going to slow down a little bit here. So in this particular regard, we need to pay attention to his A2. You see, I could have put it there, but with the turns coming, we don't know how Relentless is going to situate itself here. The main thing we care about the most is just making sure we are all right, right? So what I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to go ahead and just A1 a little bit. We're going to take a little bit of a hit. I could do the exact same thing I talked about for Toshi's side of things, right? This particular trial doesn't revolve around us doing damage, so we can go ahead and move to our second form here and play the sustain outlet for the rest of the team that way. You got that as an option. We got a little extension here. I'm going to just play that safe here. But basically, I'm just going to let the fight kind of come naturally to us here. Took a little bit of a hit, but that's all right. We're not really too worried about that just yet. What's also great about Toshiro in the second form is that his sustain out option and the damage output he takes is also pretty healthy. So as long as he's not like too low on health here, he'll be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and just A2 right off the rip. Give myself a little bit more healing. Nothing too crazy, nothing too overexertive. So at this point now, we're just letting the fight go naturally, right? So I'm hoping for like maybe 1 or 2 more turns from the squad, which we did not get. That's all right. She's going to die. So this is where it gets interesting, right? I'm going to bait out the A2. Right? That's going to pull some stuff back for us. The increase in, or the decreased speed here is actually kind of a big deal, right? We're going to get the leech out, hopefully. I'm just going to do an A1 just to keep us safe a bit. We're going to A3 into an A2 on Toshi because Toshi can still hurt himself quite a bit. I'm going to A2 here just for some extra healing. A1, and we're getting kind of close to this point now, right? So we got our block debuff across the board. Boss trial hits. We got our hits in play. That was a total of 4. That's looking very healthy for us. We are just chilling. We're not going over the top. We're not going we're not going crazy here. The idea behind this is that we just play it safe, right? Now, I did put him in the second form here, which means I have the opportunity to go ahead and flip it over to Galathier, which I'm showing you guys as an example here. Because he's in his base form, he should be able to sustain himself a little bit. We also have the A2 from Norma to keep us going a little bit more. We also have the heal from Galathier that's also going to do us some pretty good value. I'm actually not going to buff this round because we want to save it for whatever happens from these next couple of interactions, right? Also, let's put the weaken out just in case, you know? Go a little bit there. Safely for us. We avoided that lost turn that we had a problem with in that last go round. Just do a little A1, just extendo. We're kind of looking pretty comfy. This is where we kind of chill out a little bit, you know. We're gonna let the fight come to us a bit. The goal is the trial, right? That's what we care about. So, who do I want to protect? I can protect Toshiro, which may not be a bad nod. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do that now. I think she's gonna get one more turn option because of the fact that we're so fast. But I'm just gonna do that just so he can keep himself alive, you know. We still have that A2 available to us on Galathier, so that's pretty nice to see. We're just chilling. Now, this is where knowing your speed ranges is important. We have decreased speed on the boss. We have no increased speed on our guys. So it is important to note. I am going to have to revive him if I want to shoot my shot at this trial again. We did get it, right? So that's good to note. Look at where we are for our turn meter. So he's a little bit over 25%, and we have nothing to play for here, right? So this is where it's important to kind of keep track of where your elves, your high elves here, your Fina and Gala are at, right? So I do have the A2, but because we're so close on the time here, I got another extra turn, so we're getting some more turn meter boost from everybody. This is okay, right? Decreased speed, it's almost at the 50. He's now close to the 60-something% range. But look at where we're at right here. You see that? He's also kind of in a comparable position. So if I would have A2'd earlier, the opportunity for us to get so many extra turns here would have probably hurt us more than helped us, especially if I do something like this where I go A3 into A2, right? At which point, you know, she would have dropped off. But now, because of how we're playing this out, we have perfectly lined up the A2. So now we can do it here at this point. We're not doing extra turns, right? So we're going to let this transition out smoothly. We're just going to do an A1 just to play it safe. No more extra turns. Chance again, everybody gets hit, and it looks like we got our trial. Very nice, very clean, very smooth. Now, how do we want to play people getting cooked here, huh? Do we want to go ahead and just let the team go naturally? I think that might be something important to consider. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to extra turn. Look at that. Look at this boss of a champion. I am going to flip, and I'm going to A2. He does have the leech up, but we have no fear in like that, so he should die, and he's down. The reason why we did that is because we have to worry about reviving somebody for Viper. Now, I do want to care about the damage intake that we take here a little bit, so that is important to note. At which point now we're going to try to play towards Narma being safe, right? So what we're going to do here is just basically heal up. I'm going to go in A2. We're going to just basically heal everybody and just keep them going. So ideally what we have happen from here is everybody stays alive, right? That's what we care about. We want everybody to stay alive. We lost one, unfortunately. Going to go ahead and boost these. Try to keep the team going a little bit more. She does have the ability to place the leech and the decrease attack. We only got one so far. So I'm going to try to avoid doing a revive, right? So we're basically aiming for the decrease attack, which we got successfully. This is going to help us keep our team safe, right? So healing, I can play Fina now aggressively whichever way I want, right? So we're just going to play her to accommodate whatever the team's got going on. Now, something I like to do is maybe consider putting the counterattack on her yet again so that she can get more counterattacks and keep this going. But 43 out of 45, and we got 3 turn duration already. Make that 4 turn duration means that we're in a pretty healthy spot. Now from here, we're going to take some damage, obviously. But with this, I can go ahead and just keep the ball going, right? I could A2 again to heal up. I'm going to trust in Galathier to do his part, though. So we're going to go A2 here because I knew he had his A2 up. So keeping track of these cooldowns is kind of important, right? Her next turn, she's going to have her A3, A2 up. So this is kind of good to know. We took a little bit of a hit here, but I am going to use the A2. Now, here's why. We got the reset, right? So I'm going to A3, A2. Everybody's fully healthy, right? And we're going to let the fight go naturally. So it should go to Fina. She's going to get hurt a little bit. That's okay. Now, from where we are at, we're going to go ahead and boost up. We're going to do a little bit of a hit here just to kind of keep the ball going. We're going to A2 because we need to heal her back up, and we also need that decreased attack in play, right? And now that we got it, her damage intake is going to go down quite a bit, right? So now we're in a pretty solid position where it's just a matter of keeping this up time pretty heavily, right? So, because we did that, we can go here. We got the counterattack here. I can A2 yet again. Like, this is not a problem, right? I could A3 for some more value because I think the heal scales off of how many... oh, no, it just heals off of basically her overall max HP, so that's not really any value there. We do have to watch out, though. She might get cooked, right? So, this is where maybe kind of leaning towards buffing up our Gala might be a little bit safer, right? So how do we want to do this? We're going to do an A1 because there's a chance to fear. I'm going to go ahead and do another extension here. We are going to have to buff up. This is going to be a little bit of a rough run here for us, so kind of hurts a bit. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We're going to go ahead and buff up a little bit more. This is going to be close no matter how we put it. So I think the safe route is going to be to go ahead and try to boost him up a little bit more so he could do one more A2. Hopefully that keeps us going. We're going to save the A2 now because we're about to get hit here. She takes a hit. That's kind of unfortunate. Okay, now we're in a really, really interesting spot, right? It's just our boy Galathier. I could revive, I'm going to try to sweat this out. This is very scary for where we're at, right? I'm going to revive, actually. You know what? I'm going to take the chance at a revive here, and we are going to try to live through this. We may have some people get killed one more time. We're going to go ahead and just do this real fast. Do this real fast. See how this looks for us. I'm just going to go do an A1. He's going to heal himself up from that continuous heal, or from that leech. I'm hoping that, like, Ramontu dies, for example. It looks like he doesn't, so that's a little unfortunate, but that's okay. How do we want to protect ourselves here? So he does ignore, at this point, the block damage, which makes this very scary. I think the way I'm going to play this out is I kind of want to protect one of us here, so... let's hold, right? Because we need to see how she does. We did get the decreased attack out, so that's good. I need to let them die naturally here. Here's the interesting part about this. So I'm not going to do too much here. I'm just going to do some A1s and whatnot. Just do another A1. Still not dead yet. We're trying to avoid him taking too much healing, right? Hold off. Let's go ahead and do this for her. She's gonna do her A1. She didn't get it off again. That's okay. It's okay if he survives. I kind of want Ramontu to get killed here. He's close. This is very, very curious for us, right? Keep it going. Okay, that's one dead. All right. Now, what we're gonna do is heal up. Right, we're gonna blow everything we have to kind of keep the team in a healthy spot. Extra heals across the board. Basically, at this point, we just need to basically kind of like work our way through into a safety net, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play it as safely as we can. I'm gonna do another A1 there. We're gonna do another A1 there. Basically, as long as everybody is okay, we're gonna hold the revive. I am gonna flip. This is kind of an interesting note here. I'm just going to try to give her a little bit more to work with here in terms of sustain, but she may end up getting cooked here, and that's okay. That's okay. The main two I care about surviving here is going to be our Galathier, which didn't work out for us. We got our revive there. It's unfortunate that she didn't get revived there. That's okay, though. We basically just need to live through things, right? Let's see how this goes. He might end up getting himself hurt here, so I'm actually going to hold off for right now. We're going to hold off for right now. We're okay, but he's not in a great spot. So unless we get like extra turns, it's going to be kind of interesting. He's going to take a little bit of a punch there. That's all right. A little bit of a turn meter gain there. That was a little bit my fault for kind of not paying attention to where his cooldowns are at. We are going to slow it down. We need to slow this down, right? Extra turn would be really nice. We didn't get it. That's all right. We are going to flip now, and we're going to get kind of aggressive on the damage side of things so that we can kind of maybe get that top chest in one go. I think that would be a pretty healthy thing to look for. Got hit a little bit. That's all right. Revive. That should give us our trial. We got 1, 2, 3 in the middle row, and we got trial and trial. So all basalt ore, all 25 mats that you can get. Looking really, really healthy here. I'm going to go ahead and put the cooldown on him because that's where we need to get into the rhythm up. Also, we were fast enough to get ahead of him, which means that now we're getting extra value. Let's go ahead and do that for us. Go ahead and put some extra stacks here. This is where that block buff is actually going to play a little bit more clutch because you might steal some stuff from us, but it's not going to go on him. And we got that extension too as well, which makes this even better. I could just go for the lockout. I don't think it's that necessary. I think we're in a pretty healthy spot where I could just kind of now just keep the momentum and we're going to play a little aggressively. It was a little dicey with that revive effect, but we were able to let Ramontu kind of get cooked there a little bit, and that's kind of all that really matters for us. We wanted to just make sure we were in a healthy, safe spot to do what we needed to do. I'm going to A3 here, put some poisons out. A1 again. We can reapply some of these debuffs here. It looks like they kind of came up. Big damage. Looks like we're kind of in a really weird spot here. Hopefully he gets his turn. Looks like he should. I'm going to heal everybody up just to play a little bit safe. We got the block debuff like we wanted. Extra turn there is nice. He's going to do his A2, but that's all right. We still get what we're looking for there. Some extra free damage. We're at 100 mil. So all I need is 112, and we are pretty much in a safe spot. So at this point, I'm going to keep resetting spaghettiing, and we're just going to pack as much of a punch as we can here. So I'm pumping. We're going for the grand poobah of damage. It looks like we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Man, I'm telling you, this team is very solid for this particular rotation where the debuffs and whatnot are pretty good, you know? We're going to hold the A2 for the transition. We're going to get that A3 off on the boss. I'm going to A1 as well. We're going to A1 again because he's like getting extra turns. That's just to avoid too much extra buffs on us and as well as give us the chance to do the heal when the time comes. A3 into the A2. We're back in play. We're going to do the A2 just to get as many debuffs out. We got everything we were looking for. All we need is decrease attack, and we got it. It was meant to be. So now at this point, it's basically just pump damage. We're going for it. 6 mil left, right? When we got like 4 or 5 turns. That sounds pretty probable. The only thing is that we are negative affinity, so we have to watch out for that a little bit. But we got all of our stuff here the way we wanted. We're going to get some free counterattacks off from the boss. Got a not weak hit. Not too crazy, though, but it's not too bad either. Back into the A2. Big damage there. A1. We could try to extend now at this point is what we're looking to do. We were not successful. That's all right. We're going to go ahead and keep boosting our way back into this fight. I think we get one more turn here, which is great. If we get extensions on the debuffs, that's great. We're going to kind of keep that same momentum going, get them all reapplied. I'm going to go ahead and A1 here just to see if we get one more turn there, which we did not. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. It's okay. This is like the weakest hit that we have to worry about. If you remember that previous video we did, this is the lowest damage output we're going to take from this entire series of abilities he does, right? Now, look at where we're at. We're at 109, and that's with me kind of playing a kind of like semi safe route of trying to keep somebody dead for a little bit. You know, we end up having to revive there, so there's a little bit of uptime loss that we could have maybe reconsidered. But nevertheless, I mean, we're basically about a less than a mil away. I think with just like activating alone, for example, puts us pretty close. We're going to boost into resetting him one more time here. See if we get like an A2. Bang, big damage numbers, 113.3. We are over the finish line of the top chest on top of what we already accomplished, which was 25 mats and all the Basalt ore. Looks pretty freaking awesome, man. Can't complain, can't complain. And that's it. That's all she wrote. First try, too. You know what I mean? No problem whatsoever. I started the recording, and I was like, you know what? I need to be prepared if we need to do a little resetty spaghetti. Mind you, all that good stuff. But yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. If you guys want to see some more stuff like this in action, I might do a variation of this on my account while we're live. So make sure you check out Tuesday through Fridays. We're normally live around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for North America. I'm not exactly sure what that is, EUTC times, but you know, just take a look at our Twitch socials or our social media in general. You'll see that in the descriptions below. It's a great opportunity for you if you ever want to catch a little bit of what we got going on. And we're ending it off with 115, almost 116 in damage, and that was me playing it pretty safe. I'm gonna screenshot this for Satali since we did it on his account. I want to share a little bit of spice for him, you know. And with that being said, lock in this key. Pretty successful, and bang! Look at the rewards we got. Sheesh! It is not too bad, not too shabby. Honestly, with anything in types of teams like this, it's always important to know what you can and can't use. Toshiro is kind of like a big proponent for this comp, not only because he does massive amounts of damage, but the Veil is kind of like the big kicker. You get the decreased speed, the decreased defense, and the leech from other options, obviously, but that Veil makes him very important for this particular comp, right? We're trying to get those Basalt ores, right? And then, of course, everything else we do along the way, the damage output and the debuffs that we're looking for, you can build a very wide range of options that'll give you what you're looking for in a summary words, right? And this is one of many builds. I think these builds are okay. They're not like crazy. They're not like over the top. I think we could get even more output with like damage if we had like Feral on these two options right here, our big debuffers, which means that for every debuff that was in play, and we got like 10 that we can almost keep 100% uptime on, that's 10 times 5, that's 50% more damage that Toshiro would be able to pump out on. You see how that can go pretty nutty? We can hit our top chesting pretty effectively and be a lot more safer, right? But nevertheless, even without that, you still got it, right? You just need a decent build with some speed and some stats like you were looking for, like I showed earlier, and it's pretty much all you're looking for. And with that being said, you guys let me know what kind of variations of teams are you guys running for this particular rotation, and what is the rewards you guys got? And if this helped you at any way, in any shape or form, I want to give you guys an option that if you're looking for help, take a look at our description. We also offer a takeover service, as well as driving services for you if you may not want to do this type of work. Let me know. Send a message to me on Discord. It's also in the details in the description, as well as, you know, following your boy on social media, you know, YouTube, Twitch, the whole 9 yards is a great opportunity for you guys to be a part of the community and ever grow and have a flourishing experience, all right? With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, always remember, stay ascended.
So it's 100 on the floor.